Second, yes, 7:32 now. Welcome to Dailies today, the second part. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
I'm Jimi Disu. Good morning.
You can watch us live on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube, so feel free to jump on the two platforms and let us know what you think about the stories that we're about to bring to you on Dailies today, the second part. We're going to start with the Punch newspaper, page 11. By the way, if you like to watch online, just search for Nigeria Info 99.3 and you'll be able to watch us. Now, the Punch has this story on page 11. That's where we're kicking off from. EFCC breaks into Okorocha's Abuja residence, arrest ex-governor after 7-hour siege. 7 hours.
This country is a tragedy. In all honesty, it's a tragedy. What we saw yesterday, usually you'd see in movies when like 007 goes after the bad guys, you know, then you have to break in coming from the roof, from the whatever. And the funniest part was that this gentleman called Okorocha was actually filming it live. We saw him where he was praying. I wonder what he was telling God. Because I wonder what he was telling God and how God would answer him. Because God would be saying that, look, my son, you have questions to answer as regards the funds of your people. I didn't say he's guilty, but you have got open the door and answer them. I'm sure that's what God would have said. But the whole drama was a complete mess. Let's take it from the EFCC had a job to do. And I've said anybody who is going to change this country around will sometimes have to go that extra mile. And that's what happened yesterday. And I have no apologies in saying that what they did was necessary to drive home a point. We have gotten to that point in this country where people cannot hide behind any legal whatever it is. I'm not saying we should do things in an unlawful manner, but sometimes there is a need to tell megalomaniacs in this country and those who think that they can hold us, ordinary citizens, to ransom and that they're above the law, sometimes it's good to show them a lesson. Let's look at it from a logical standpoint. This man had been arrested. He claims he was on bail. His trial was going on. He didn't turn up for trial. And there was a judgment against him, and they went simply to his door to ask him. And like a gentleman who has nothing to hide, you would open up your door. Yes, gentlemen, can I help you? But from inside the so-called safety of his house, he was talking about how it was important for him to go for presidential screening. You have your timetable, they have theirs. Had you done what you should have done at the right... And this was a man who wants to become president and has supporters. I mean, the time has come when we need to condemn things like this. And I am glad about what the EFCC did. And I'm ready to take anybody up in public who might be thinking that I'm suggesting that they should do that was extreme. We have gotten to... Look, if you add the Accountant General of Rivers State Government is missing now. The last I heard, I don't know if you know the figure, was some humongous figure that he cannot account for.
I think about 400 something.
About 400 something billion. Excuse me. These monies cumulatively could turn Togo into an El Dorado. So I am glad that the EFCC did what they did. I'm extremely proud of them for what they did. We've had enough of this nonsense. You said they didn't have a court order, but you didn't open the door to see they were going to hand you a court order. You knew they were the EFCC, and you were showing it live on Facebook. To what purpose? And guess what? His supporters, ordinary minions, people who... You see, because whenever somebody is accused of misappropriating an amount, whether he's found guilty or not, you remember yesterday we were talking about technicalities. Yeah. That money has been compromised. Yeah. The 400 and something billion in Rivers State now that the Accountant General is being, most likely has gone up in thin air. Whether he will be found guilty or his principal, we don't know. Okocha didn't behave responsibly. That is a given. He didn't behave responsibly. He could at least have submitted himself. Then if he had the case, get his lawyer to go argue the case in court.
He said it could be perhaps some people were trying to stop him from attending the primaries.
What is so sacrosanct about the primaries that he's attending? That is his personal business. Would the EFCC come to me and I say, oh, I want to pray and I want to do 1,500 rakas before I can go with them? I mean, where does this megalomania come from? That you have, if you have a whatever to attend, it's not statutory. The law must take its course, and I am glad about what they did. We would like to call on our elite to please look. Let's put this idea, and I hope that even the lawyers will start to meet and please contribute to us having a sane society. In the case, for example, this showmanship, 35 SANs, 48 lawyers, 33 ex-judges, all these things, what they do is they set a bad example to society. And we expect people, least of all a former governor and a current senator of the Federal Republic, to obey the law. And if he has any case, to resort to the law. You can't resort to self-help. If he hadn't been a senator, if he had been somebody who was a pickpocket who had run into another building, they would have gunned him down. And his so-called security operatives yesterday was said, put up some resistance. We need to put an end to this, and he only has himself to blame for whatever happens to him. It could have been avoided. I'm not saying it is the most civil way to do things. No. But I am glad that the resolution, and he even had the audacity to talk about his bulletproof doors. What is anybody's business with whether his doors are bulletproof or not? He put that on Facebook Live. I think it's very unfortunate.
LK Adirogba on YouTube says, Uncle Jimmy, he had a case in the Federal High Court, and the judge said that was the last adjourned at the last date. The FCC kept inviting him, but he hasn't been. He has been evading. EFCC was inclined to go with force.
I think he was trying to be clever by saying he wanted to run for the presidency. I think he was trying to be. You remember what Angela said yesterday? That once you put money down, you have a foot in the door.
There's something. Yes.
I think that's. It is time for us now to start calling a spade and not a farming implement. We must all resolve not to tolerate this kind of irresponsible behavior on the part of our leaders and our elites. If you have a case, I'm not saying you are guilty at all times. No, you must show confidence in the law court. If you don't show, who will?
Let's move on to page 13 of the Punch newspaper. Buhari meets APC governors, others ahead primaries.
We are now getting to the climax of the matter. Again, you remember what Angela said yesterday. Listen to what the story says. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, on Tuesday had a closed-door meeting. What is a closed-door meeting? The door is never open anyway. They had a closed-door meeting with state governors and some members of the National Assembly, APC, in the presidential villa. At the end of the meeting, nobody said anything. A source at the APC secretariat, however, told our correspondents that the meeting bothered around the coming primaries. And guess what?
What?
The need for consensus. So we are gradually getting there.
No, but they weren't there. They weren't inside.
Yes.
How did they know that there was a call for a consensus candidate?
That's you have always been in radio. We've been on the streets. Yes, we have our sources.
These sources are always there hanging around. Like
we have newspaper is no longer as interesting as it used to be. We have our sources. You have your sources.
Yeah.
When I remember the day that people like Eric Toniola were out there, breaking news, you always
Okay.
you have your sources. There's always somebody who gives you some tips. And it says that a source at the there you go now. A source. Sorry, I keep.
It's okay.
The source at the APC secretariat, however, told our correspondent that the meeting bothered and consensus that this is even as he disclosed that the outcome of the meeting with the president would determine the direction of the primaries and the new date for the postponed presidential screening. I think the presidential screening, they're buying time. All this postponement, they're buying time until everything is tidied up. At the end of the day, unless something else happens, and or something what happens, it will be the president's choice that will prevail.
Yeah.
That's the way it works in a country like ours. It will be the president's choice. That's the way it works. There's no true democracy. Why do we kid ourselves about these things?
So we're invariably not looking at consensus. We're looking at an imposition.
It's not imposition, it's consensus. They will agree now. That's what consensus is about.
I agree. It could be formalities.
Maybe, no,
imposition is this is what the president wants. This is who he wants.
No, because
everybody, you have no choice.
Because they will then bring the candidates. Okay, they'll bring the candidates, and then there will be affirmation. Some of the participants in this
affirmation
exercise,
to fulfill all righteousness.
Yes, some of the participants in this exercise. That's what they've been doing for 20 years.
Yeah. No doubt.
No doubt.
So imposition.
So we want to see if they will complain. That's what they've been doing for 20 years.
What goes round, Abby?
What goes round comes round. Oh, money.
One more. One more.
I like your new glasses. This is a Tommy. I was getting out to Tommy for Tommy. I like your new glasses. Makes you look very fine. I want to be fine too.
Oh. That's good. That's good.
Which one now?
Yeah. So let's take this story here on page 14 of the Punch. Security agencies can access suspect SIM profile. This is according to investigation. Security agencies can access suspect SIM profile.
Okay, let me break it down. It looks a bit like poetry.
Yeah.
What it just means is this. If you have ever used a SIM card on any phone, the moment you put that SIM card into that phone, if somebody uses it 2 years later, you can still be traced. Where I'm going is to sound a warning to those who do all this spreading WhatsApp messages, making anonymous calls. The security services are well equipped now. They were well equipped before because I had a threat roughly about 15 years ago or thereabout. I had a threat, and they were still able to trace certain things on top order directive. But now, for your information, if you don't know now, they have they're well equipped to. There is no hiding place for you if you get involved in this nefarious activity. So if you don't know now, this is also a time to send a warning to people who are in the habit of forwarding various messages and whatever. You'd better be careful. I tell people, don't forward these messages to me. Because if you forward the message to me and I get a call from the authorities and they ask me who is the sheriff that forwarded this to you, I will quickly take you, because they can see it on my phone. You need to be careful with the way you use your phone. You need to be absolutely careful. This is the thrust of the story this morning. You younger people, usually some of you are into all kinds of mischief. You need to be very, very careful. Fictitious names won't help you.
Yep.
If 3, 4, 5, 10 different people have put a SIM in the phone, it leaves what you call a fingerprint. And you can always be traced. Also, when you want to buy these Tokumba phones, used phones, be very, very careful. Whatever you do, if you're a pickpocket, if you steal an iPhone, just leave it where you found it. You better not try and put another SIM, think you can put another SIM into it. You will be traced. And the security authorities, they are well, they're well equipped now.
Yeah.
It is a pity because of the numerous problems we have. We don't seem to appreciate the capacity of our security forces. They are usually bogged down by political considerations. I'm telling you, you have one of the most brilliant minds in that circle. Trust me on that. So let's just be careful. That's the part that concerns you. That's the part that concerns me. Let's just be careful how we use our phones. Be extremely careful how we use our phones. And if you're somebody who travels, if you're somebody who is a man of the world, keep going up and down, make sure, be very careful of the sites that you go to. For example, if there's any trace by any coincidence that you've been to a child pornographic site, you could end up in jail in Europe on an ordinary visit. So let's get this very, very clear. And this is the best summer present I can give a lot of you out there. Be careful how you use your phone. be very, very careful.
Right, we're still with the Punch, page 2 this time around. APC governorship ticket. Aggrieved aspirants seek direct primary. Alleged governors hijack delegate lists.
You know, the primaries are coming, all kinds of complaints.
Yes.
All kinds of complaints are coming in, and this story is a full page on the Punch. It does a general review of what is going on. In Ogun State, apparently, yesterday, the Ogun State governor, it is reported, visited the chairman of the party. I think that had to do with the allegation against him. And it says here that in the Punch that the National Association of Nigerian Students have accused the leadership of the APC of turning a deaf ear to petitions written against the governor. But he saw the chairman yesterday, and we don't know what came out of that. But the report says that he was warmly received. Of course, the advice I gave him in public here is still subsists, so he will probably settle himself. Abe's faction in Rivers State, they are asking for direct primaries. They have a bone to pick. In Lagos here, they say the story here says Lagos APC kicks as group alleges Sanwo-Olu's brothers' inclusion, and some people are complaining that one gentleman, Adebayo Sanwo-Olu, who is suspected to be the brother of the current governor, that his name was in the organizing committee of the primaries. But the chairman, the Lagos APC chairman, or Jelabi, who spoke with the Punch, said that he maintained that the said Adebayo Sanwo-Olu had always been a state executive anyway. And notwithstanding the claims of these alleged ties are unfounded and cannot be established. And he says, I urge all party delegates to discard the statement and go on and cast their votes for the aspirants of their choice. Gbenga Omotosho said that he had no knowledge of the statement, and the chief press secretary to the governor himself, Akosile, said there will be no reaction from the state government. He speaks for the governor, though, but he says as it amounts to nothing, and that the person bears the name, the person bears the same name as the governor doesn't make them brothers. He didn't categorically say whether they are brothers or not.
He just said it.
No, he says that it amounts to nothing, and that the person bears the name as the governor doesn't make them brothers. So he should have said they are not brothers, and then he can make this statement. Yes,
I agree.
That just make a categorical statement if they are brothers or not. If I were the gentleman, though, Adebayo Sanwo-Olu, just for reasons of fairness,
I had two friends.
Yes.
Two former colleagues who were Sanwo-Olus.
The Disus are spread. There are Disus in Ilorin,
exactly.
Kogi, there are Disu. But if I find myself in this kind of business, I say, these names can cause wahala.
No, I won't let anyone. I won't let that get into my doing.
No.
What
You see, it's just a primaries.
They should know better, unless there is something else.
Sometimes for openness and for what you see, because it's not that there should be fairness. Fairness should be seen to be done. Just because my name coincides, it is not to be part of an organizing committee. I step aside. I mean, what is it?
What if it's my responsibility?
It's
I
not.
will now say because
it is not. You're just a member of a committee.
Yes, that's a responsibility. It's a responsibility you've been given. You can't say because some people are afraid of their shadows.
No.
Do what you're supposed to do.
No. Because let me tell you
what
why.
I think is.
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Even you and I arguing here now, we don't have a categorical yes or no as to whether he's his brother.
Yes, we don't know.
So what are we arguing about?
So I wanted to say that, like, it's most likely that those people agitating are not just agitating for agitation's sake.
No, they might have a genuine fear.
It's most likely the fear is genuine.
Genuine, yeah.
Most likely. Otherwise, they will know their state EXO members now.
If I was the governor himself,
yeah,
I would slip a note to them to say, can you let this man excuse himself? I don't want any wahala from these people. Because in things like this, and don't forget that the hordes of people you're dealing with, to be fair, and they are not, a lot of them might not be as exposed as you and I.
Yeah.
For me, even if it is blood brother, if I'm going to beat him, I'll beat him.
And to be very fair, party members know themselves.
They know themselves. So it's and let me tell you, if we were sitting here now and Philip came in and slipped a note to say these are the names of the organizing committee of the, you and I would look at that, even if we out of discussion I might not say anything, but you'll be pointing your finger at it. Yes. I mean, so anyway, nothing spoiled. Okay, but the primaries will definitely go on. And it says here that the APC has adjusted the primaries timetable for the 4th time. Okay, and it says the National Coordinating Committee has again adjusted the timetable. Whether the adjustments here and there or whatever it is, by Sunday we should know who the gubernatorial candidate.
I think there's something going
APC
on
is.
why the two major parties are stalling.
They're watching themselves.
Exactly. Why?
They're watching themselves.
Is it
Well,
that-
it's part of. You see, part of the game is you want to know who your opponents might be, so that you don't just dive into this thing. So everybody is stalling and watching.
so our politics is now like that?
It's a bit
Because
like,
I feel that they should put forward their best candidate, regardless of
there's
whoever the other.
in politics. There's no best. The best man doesn't win. The most tactical wins. In politics, the best man doesn't necessarily win. If the best man wins, that's an act of God. But it's the most tactical.
But that's the responsibility of now the political parties.
Well, we don't have political parties. Let's be honest with ourselves. In the APC, you know what we have. Don't ask me.
Oh God, what do we have?
I've already said. Don't ask me. In the PDP, you also know. You also know what you have, because in the PDP, I can almost comfortably say, with a bit of apologies to my PDP friend, Jandor probably has hijacked the party. But you know what's going on in the APC.
Chief Body Judge is there. Jandor can't do that.
Chief Body Judge is at the very top. He's out of state. He's out of state. If Banky W could go to the PDP and pick up a ticket, JLT, you know what JLT is? Just like that. That tells you something. I'm not saying he's not worthy of the ticket.
Yeah.
But if he just moved to the party and could pick up the ticket just like that.
What if it's just the tactical stuff that you mentioned? That's what played out, not because it's Banky W.
Kò séèyàn ńlẹ̀ náà ni.
Ah.
Kò séèyàn ńlẹ̀ ni.
So there's no opposition in Lagos.
There's no opposition, of course, but you've always known that. And part of what is going on is that half of the PDP in Lagos are the parastatal of the APC.
Paracetamol. What's the meaning of that?
No, I speak in parables. If you don't get it, you don't get it, man. Tommy for Tommy. I speak in parables. If you don't get it, let me go.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Because there's reason to believe that a number of the PDP people are in the payroll of the Grand Master.
Okay, let's go on now. Let's go on very quickly. The Nation. Let's take The Nation. Sorry, sir. Courts to MC Oluomo, NURTW, others don't collect levies from non-members.
For the umpteenth time, maybe by the time the primaries is over, the APC will pay attention to how to handle this MC Oluomo matter. But as it is, I must say, with the little that I can glean, because there's really not much information, and he promised
Who is
to bring
he? Who is
you.
he?
I'm pointing at you.
How?
If no matter if you,
I did not promise.
he promised that he was going to bring
I did
Lagos
not
State
promise.
officials to explain what's going on. However, be that as it may, there's a court injunction now from the Federal High Court Lagos Division, and they granted an application restraining MC Oluomo and others from collecting union dues and levies from commercial drivers that are non-union members at all motor parks in Lagos. Now, you know these monies are they are collected through enforcement and so on and so forth. So let us wait and see how this pans out. To what extent this gentleman is ready to obey the law.
So,
But I must repeat,
yes,
for the umpteenth time, that the issue, of course, has to be reviewed, okay, repackaged, okay, because as it is a prescription for confusion.
I tweeted something on this judgment on my Twitter handle. It's my own interpretation of the judgment.
Yes.
But I'm not saying it on air. I'm just saying. I mean, people.
If you tweeted it, why can't you say it on air?
At Sheriff Quadry, go check it out.
I will reply to his tweet at Jimi Disu. Go and check it out. It's fire for fire, Tommy for Tommy, fire for fire.
Oh boy, we have to go.
You have to go?
Yes, we have to go.
Oh, I was just warming up.
What's coming up at Dear Movie today? Who is coming?
I have a dilemma. I was quarreling with Philip. Actually, let me say quickly yesterday.
Yeah.
The person I pointed to that he should invite, when I got the photograph, it looked different, but he keeps convincing me it's the same person. So that's the first question.
We're going to swap the identity.
I don't know what happened. He didn't look anywhere near in the photographs. I said, Philip, what's going on here? So he swore that was the same person.
Hey.
So you see her at night.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Thank you so much for coming around.
Thank you, Jerry.
Lagos has our show. We'll be right back after the news. Stay here.
They don't disconnect your line sake of say you not link your national identification number to your MTN number. Make you not worry. If you don't
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.